So as you enter this room that's at the very bottom of that very tall shaft, you'll find that there's a fan that is blowing straight upwards to one of those chandelier things that is directly above it. As usual, you want to use your Clawshot to latch onto it, but you'll find that Link isn't heavy enough on his own with all this wind blowing upwards. You want to put on the iron boost to temporarily increase your weight, thus deactivating the fan below. Now that it's turned off, we'll be able to take off the iron boots and then be able to drop down into this large room. Link doesn't break his legs, which is a wonder since we're falling down straight, a few stories. After staring around the room for a moment, you will hear another jaguar-like sound and some whooshing back and forth. Oh noes! And after a moment, this new foe will then show itself, a winged lizard man with a sword and shield. Thus initiates the battle with the mini-boss of this dungeon, the Aerofol. Once the battle begins, you want to Z-target your opponent and get your Clawshot ready. If you use it right now though, it'll cause it to swoop in and smack you with its sword, so that'll, in a sense, cause damage to yourself. Instead, you want to wait for it to hold up its shield, which means it's preparing to use a dashing attack, which is kind of a pain to avoid. However, it takes a while for it to charge it up, and also you'll notice that its shield looks very much like a target. So you want to use your Clawshot to latch onto the shield and pull the Aerofol down to the ground. Quickly slash away with your sword while its defenses are down, and after a moment it'll get its bearings again. So you want to quickly use the shield attack followed by the helm splitter, and this will catch it off guard and allow you to continually keep smacking it with your sword before it takes flight again. In this case, I was able to keep it on the ground and do enough damage to it to initiate the second phase of the battle. The Aerofol will go out a window and fly back through in some of the other three that are within this room. It may fly through another one to try and confuse you, but at some point, it'll pause at one of them and try swooping at you again. You want to use Z-targeting to look back and forth, and then Z-target it once it holds still. Clawshot it down and smack away just like you did before. So as I said, whenever you are striking it with your sword, be sure to try and use the shield attack and the helm splitter in order to smack it every time that it looks like it's going to start flying away. Just quickly use the shield attack, and that way you can keep it constantly on the ground, and you can get even more sword strikes in. So in that way, you can actually kill it very quickly and deal a lot of damage to it. Otherwise, this battle can actually kind of stretch and drag. Also, one other thing to watch out for throughout this battle is the blue blocks that are on the edges of this room, because when it does that little charging up attack where it's vulnerable like that, you can see that you can land on these blue blocks here and then you can fall into the sky, and so that's lame as well. So it should be pretty easy for you to defeat. Once you have taken care of that, the gates that are blocking an upper ledge will then open, revealing a large chest inside. Grab the hearts from the nearby jars if you are in need of health, and then use the Clawshot to latch onto the target that is on the ceiling of this little area, and open the large chest to get the dungeon item, a second Clawshot. With two, we will now be able to grapple onto other objects from a target. This means that we can repeatedly alternate which hand Link is using in order to use several targets in a row, and access a lot of otherwise impossible areas that are throughout this dungeon. So you want to pull up your items menu and set the double Clawshot to your item button, and use it to latch onto one of these nearby targets that are on the ceiling. Lower yourself down a ways so you can latch onto the next target in the far corner of the room. From here, lower yourself again, and then aim towards the fan that is in the center of the ceiling. You can grapple onto the vines and pull yourself up, and then exit through the doors. Now isn't that just sweet? Well, we're back in this fantastic room that I'm sure you hated the last time we were here. So now our goal is to work our way back up to the top, obviously, but before going too far though, I suggest you kill the keys that are straight ahead, since it will come after you if you don't take care of it right now. Once it's defeated, you want to use your Clawshots to move up from target to target, following the various obvious path upward. And now at this very next platform, I actually recommend you stop using your Clawshot and drop onto the platform and kill the keys that is up ahead. I didn't do that, and as you'll see in a moment, it was kind of a deadly thing to ignore, and I really should have taken care of it. As you continue working your way upwards, you'll eventually come to a chandelier thing. You want to go ahead and latch onto it, which will temporarily open the gate below. Now as soon as we let go, however, the gate will close, so instead you want to lower yourself down all the way, and then use the other Clawshot to latch onto the targets that are on either side of the door. Now as you can hear in the background, I almost got smacked by that keys, which would have been a terrible mistake because it would have made me start the room all over again. So learn from my mistakes and kill the keys first, because that was kind of risky. Now in this next area, you simply want to hold in the Z button to target the sinking cylinder things, and then repeatedly use the double Clawshot, so just hold Z the entire time. Alternatively, you could manually aim at it, which is quite a bit harder and slower that way. And actually, the first time I played this, I didn't even realize you could simply hold Z the entire time, so it made that quite a bit harder. So either way you do that, once you get to the end, you want to drop onto the platform and open the large chest that is next to the door to get the compass. This will help us find all the missing chests that we have yet to find within this dungeon. With that, go ahead and exit through the door to emerge back outside. So now we're actually underneath the bridge we used to get over to this side of the dungeon. So cool. You want to use the Clawshot to latch onto the obvious grating that is the closest, and then repeatedly smack the Baba Serpents before grappling onto the next area. So just want to smack their stem. This will cause them to fall down into the abyss of this sky, I guess, fall down into the world. And then continually work your way forward. At the end, you want to go ahead and latch onto the vines and climb back up to the next platform, and that is all we needed to do on this side. So next you just want to go ahead and return to the central chamber. Now our goal here is to get over to the east side, but now we have the double Clawshot. There's actually a shortcut we can take, rather than going out through the window again. You want to latch onto the target that is hanging from the ceiling here in the middle of the gap, and then use the targets that are on either side of the door, and then go on through. Now if you remember from earlier, the bridge is actually out because the dragon destroyed it earlier. We now have another means of getting across to the other side, which I will show here in just a moment. But before we do that, however, it may be wise to actually kill the Cargaroks that are flying around. And to make this a bit easier, I put on my iron boots so that I didn't get blown around by the wind. And now I will use my hero's bow to take them out. Unfortunately, when the wind is blowing, your arrows will get swept along by the current and disappear. So you want to wait for the wind to stop blowing, and then shoot to your heart's content. When they're all taken care of, or you can, of course, just simply ignore them, you want to go ahead and Z-target the Peahat that is directly above you, and then use the Clawshot while continually holding Z to make your way over to the other side. Now this is why you want the Cargaroks gone, because otherwise you'll like Z-target the Cargaroks, so that's kind of a pain. You know, you can manually aim with it too, but it's a lot easier to just simply hold Z the entire time. At the end, you want to go ahead and drop down and go through the door. Now we went through this room earlier, but we could only get the chest that was on this upper level that had a small key from before. But now that we have the double Clawshot, we'll be able to access the rest of this room. You want to stand on the far edge, and then turn around and Z-target the cylinder that is below. You want to latch onto it to wind up in the platform that is in the far corner. So you just hold Z the entire time and just keep pressing the Clawshot button. From here you want to go ahead and Clawshot the target that is across the way, and then grapple onto the target that is closest to the wall. From here you'll be able to reach the grating that is on the inner wall of this alcove. You want to go ahead and kill the enemies here, and then you can open the small chest if you wish to get a bundle of arrows. Oh yeah! This time, you want to Clawshot the far target, and then get over to the nearby platform by grappling onto the grating. From this platform, you want to go ahead and jump across to the next area. You'll see there's a target here that you can also latch onto as well. Next, you want to go ahead and turn to the side and jump down, and you want to turn around and you'll see that there are some Baba Serpents that are hanging from the ceiling. You have to be sure to defeat both of them, because if you latch onto that piece of that target right up there, the other Baba Serpent will knock you down as well. So go ahead and grapple onto the target and then lower yourself down, and you'll see that there is a crystal switch. Go ahead and smack it, and this will deactivate the wall that's right behind you. This gate will open. You can see you can move around while the cinema is going on. It's kind of funny. I'm going to go ahead and latch onto this target, and then just turn around and work your way up. Now this part's kind of tricky. It actually had me stuck for a little bit. There's some grating that is here on the side, and that's what you want to latch onto. Now before entering the next door and leaving this room, you'll see that there are two chests that are within this room that you can see on your minimap. You want to go ahead and turn around once you get to the top, and you'll see a small chest that is out on this narrow platform. Jump over to it and open it to get a red rupee, which is worth 20. Now that's what I'm talking about. I want to go ahead and Clawshot back to the other platform, since it's probably safer to do that as opposed to jumping, and then turn off to the side where you can see there's another chest on your minimap. You want to go ahead and kill the tile worm that is up ahead using the Gale Boomerang, and then jump over and kill the other one, as well as the purple shoe. Remember, if you fail to actually kill the tile worm, such as it landing on a lower platform as this one just did in a moment, you'll see that it'll actually reappear after a moment. You want to avoid touching it again because it'll still knock you off into the sky, and that would be lame. So here I'm going to kill this one. And then I'll kill Pichu as well. So now that they're both defeated for reals, they will not reappear. So once they're defeated, you want to go ahead and open the chest to get some bombs. I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos! Sorry, it's a CDI joke. You want to return to the door and go through to continue onward with the dungeon. That's all the time I have for this one, my loyal minions, so I will see you in the next video.